Every day, hospitals and medical centers around Boston are making great advances in cancer research, and we're going to speak with someone who's on a mission to help them keep making those advances, and he's doing it in a very unique way. Greg Chastain is the founder of Voices of Hope, an organization dedicated to raising funds for cancer research, and a repeat performer here on the show. Greg, it's always nice to speak with you. Thank you for coming back on.
Thank you, George, for having me.
We're talking because you have another performance coming up, and it's always good to remind people of all the good work that you do, and I wondered if we could get started by giving a little bit of background on Voices of Hope, how it got started, and as you've described before, as happens all too often, very positive things can rise out of not so cheery things, and that's the case here, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Believe it or not, it's been 10 years since my mother passed from pancreatic cancer, and that's kind of kick-started this program. She was a big fan of mine when I did theater growing up and took me to all my voice lessons and things such as that. So after she passed, I grabbed a few of my theater friends together to do a one-night benefit to raise money to give back to the cancer community that tried to save her. And here we are 10 years later and growing stronger every day.
Doing good work. Now, Voices of Hope raises money for the Termeer Cancer Center for Targeted Therapies at Mass General. I wonder if you could talk about why you focus on them and talk about some of the things they're doing.
Sure. When we started this, I specifically wanted to look at pancreatic cancer because it was one of the 7 deadliest cancers. But as we moved through the first couple of years, I slowly realized how many cancers are out there by doing the research and having people in our group that are going through it and family members. So targeted therapies was new on the horizon at that time, and they were targeting all kinds of cancers. They worked with melanoma, breast cancer, any type of cancer that they could work with. So it was more of it was new to the community and they needed the research money, and B, they were trying to help as many people as they can and not focusing on one type of cancer. And in our community that we're working with, it seemed just a better fit, and they've been incredible partners ever since then.
And targeted therapies, obviously it's not a medical show here, but targeted therapy just means that they go after the specific cancer, is that right?
Correct. They go after the cancer within the body, so they look at your genetics, and they try and match up the drugs to your specific genetic makeup and the specific cancer that you have. It's kind of like back when we had the AIDS epidemic, and they did the cocktails for those people, and that worked. It targeted them specifically and targeted that disease. So they're trying to do the same thing with cancers because not everybody reacts to the same type of cancer that the next person does. And what's unique about it is one type of therapy for, let's say, breast cancer, that piece of that might work for pancreatic cancer, so they try and piece them together. So it's specifically designated to that person.
We're speaking with Greg Chastain, who is founder of Voices of Hope. Now, the money you raise is done through a variety of amazing performances, and I always love getting a rundown, maybe if you could list some of the shows you did this past year or even beyond that, because you've done some biggies.
Yeah, we've had the honor of being at the North Shore Music Theater for the past 6-7 years. We've done Fiddler on the Roof, Jesus Christ Superstar, Children of Eden, Godspell, just to name a few. But in the fall, every October, we do a gala, which is a review cabaret style where we do country, pop, Broadway, of course. So in the show coming up on the 13th, we're going to do songs from everything from tradition of Fiddler all the way to Dear Evan Hansen, fight song in the pop world. Devil Went Down to Georgia for the country folks. So
wow.
it's a fun night of that, and talking about the uniqueness of what we do and where our money goes.
It's a musical buffet you got going on there.
That is it. And
awesome.
Since this is our 10th year, so we're taking highlights of people have requested songs that we do, so it's kind of highlights of our past 10 years.
October 13th, it's Reflections of Hope at the North Shore Music Theater in Beverly. Oh, I was just meant to ask you guys have performed at Fenway as well, right?
Yes, we do the national anthem, and we have performed at Fenway, at Gillette for the Patriots.
Sheesh.
And the Revs. We do the Celtics every year. We just got hired back to do them this year. And we do the local colleges, Merrimack and UMass, the hockey game. So we get to do some of the fun stuff to get the word out of who we are.
Greg Chastain is founder of Voices of Hope. If you don't mind, let's go back a little bit to the October 13th event, the Reflections of Hope at the North Shore Music Theater. There's more than just a performance. Yes, there are auctions going on as well?
Yeah, before every show we have in the lobby, we have some great auction items. And this year we have some amazing items. We have the Celtics are sending us an autographed basketball, the full team for this year.
Wow.
J.D. Martinez sent us a baseball. The Crafts gave us a pair of their tickets to one of their games coming up at Gillette. And then we have some really cool other items as well that are out there. We have a Mexican Stratocaster guitar, all kinds of just amazing things that are donated to us through all the local businesses around here which really support us.
Now, you mentioned from the get-go it's the 10th anniversary of the founding of Voices of Hope, and I want to ask you a little bit of if you think back to the beginning and kind of reminisce about what was going through your head when you got it started, and is this kind of where you thought it would go?
It was supposed to be one night,
yeah.
So we're not anywhere near where I thought at that time. But after the first night, so many people came up and wanted to share their story and wanted to be able to help and do things that way. So we've just grown from that. We started with 22 performers that night, and we have over 200 members. And on the stage coming up in October, we'll have 110 cast members, not including all the people behind the scenes and everything.
Show.
And the unique thing is everyone is a volunteer. So there's nobody that's paid, all the way from the orchestra to the tech to the cast. It's 100% volunteer, and it's just amazing how many hours, hundreds of hours, these people put into rehearsals. We've been in rehearsal for this show since August.
Wow.
So it's just hundreds of hours of their volunteer time.
It's that labor of love thing.
Yeah, it's an incredible family. We have a great time together.
We're speaking with Greg Chastain, who is founder of Voices of Hope. The performance Reflections of Hope happens October 13th at the North Shore Music Theater. Coming up, we're going to find out just how entertaining it can be when dental hygienists and postal carriers and insurance salesmen get together and put on a show. More with Greg Chastain coming up. I'm George Knight. This is Greater Boston Today. We're speaking with Greg Chastain, who is founder of Voices of Hope. The performance Reflections of Hope is coming up October 13th at the North Shore Music Theater. Before the break, we were talking about the fact that there are over 200 people involved in Voices of Hope. If you don't mind, can you talk a little bit about those over 200 members of Voices of Hope and talk about some of the folks who are involved in it?
Sure. They are from all walks of life. They're your postman, your dental hygienist, your insurance person. They all have day jobs. They work 9 to 5 and then show up 3 to 4 nights a week during the rehearsal times and put in 4 or 5 hours a night, every night, dancing, singing. They're all local community theater performers, so they're not professional, but they sure sound it when they hit the stage.
Yeah.
And it's really become a family. 99% of them have either been through this themselves, are going through it now, have lost family members. So everybody on that stage that you see has been touched by cancer, and that's why they continue to come out and do what they do.
It makes it a big family, one big family putting on a performance.
Huge family, yeah.
Greg Chastain is founder of Voices of Hope, October 13th, Reflections of Hope, happening at the North Shore Music Theater. Do you have a goal for how much to raise for the Tumir Center at the event?
Well, to date, we've donated over $600,000,
wow.
And we're trying to break $700,000 this year. So we're trying to raise $100,000 this year.
That's impressive.
Yeah. So, and we're getting there, piece by piece.
Let's give ways people can find out more information, get tickets, get involved. Perhaps. I mean, going to the show obviously is one way you can get involved. But if you wouldn't mind giving contact information on websites, etc.
Sure. Voices of Hope, you can go out to, it's www.voicesofhopeboston.org, and there's a way to contact us there on the contact page. There's also a donation page if you just want to make a straight donation. And if you want tickets for the show, you can go to nsmt.org. North Shore Music Theater's acronym, nsmt.org, and tickets are on sale there now. And there's not many left, so you should go soon.
Treat yourself, do a good thing, feel good about it. I'll give those websites again. The Voices of Hope website is voicesofhopeboston.org. And for tickets directly to the North Shore Music Theater, it's nsmt.org. And I have a phone number here. Is this right? 978-232-7200. Is that the theater?
That is the theater box office,
okay.
Yes.
978-232-7200. Greg Chastain is founder of Voices of Hope. Reflections of Hope is happening October 13th at the North Shore Music Theater. Get yourself out there, treat yourself to a wonderful show, and know that you're helping an amazing cause. Greg, thank you for all you do for this, and I'm always grateful for your time. It's nice speaking with you.
Well, thank you for your support and your continued help in getting our message out there, George. Thank you.